Alright, now my mic's on. Good morning, everybody. That's crazy, dude. I've been chatting here for like 10 minutes and nobody said anything until Tom. I've been talking all sorts about the market, what's going on, saying what's up to everyone. And everyone's just like, man, we'll let him be. Tom, you saved me. You're the friend who tells, hey, you got broccoli in your teeth. Octopus has nothing to say. Alright. Octopuses usually don't. Or octopi, rather. Welp, we got some movement today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going down. NQ's right at some key levels. So in order to really trust this downtrend, we're going to need to get below them. ES is kind of in no man's land. But, yeah, I like this larger channel. If we get a lower high here, I will probably have to take a short. Alright. Ooh, yes, I like that bar. Let's see if it finishes well. It did, and of course I am not fast enough to get in on that. That's what you want, though. That was a great setup. Hopefully some of you guys got that. Yeah, that was a beautiful setup. I honestly didn't expect it to happen that quick, so I didn't have my order ready. That's exactly what you want to see. Solid downtrend. We got a couple legs back, a correction. Push below the EMA. Nice bearish bar. Yeah, that was a beauty. NQ busy. Starting to break those levels. And so far it's looking like this bearishness is legit. But especially NQ, we'll see around this area whether it truly is or not. But as of now, this channel's holding really well. NQ pushing below those key levels. ES2 channel still in play. We'll be watching for a pullback and hopefully we can get a short here. Today is very significant so far. This is the first time we have been under the 50-day moving average on SPY since April. We've been drifting higher, gapping up, going up and up and up. And now for the first time since April, we are below the 50-day moving average. So institutions are definitely watching this action right now. If this holds below the 50-day moving average, it could get quite bloody. Whoa, Paul, a payout of $15,000, dude. You're just killing it lately. My goodness, man. Good work. All right, we're getting this pullback here. Let's see if this looks like a pullback or a reversal. We're watching the 21 EMA especially. We want to see some rejection here. So if this all of a sudden drops down and then we get that second pullback, holds the EMA, we're going to be taking a short. On NQ, very, well, on both of them, very vertical move. Kind of looks like an overshoot here, so watch for an extreme correction off of that. Map this out on ES too. All right, we got a little break in new high of this channel. Again, this is this is a very significant level on the daily chart for the entire year. So, yeah, don't just treat this as everyday normal stuff. Like, you got to be really cautious here. You can have some extreme reactions. We're watching to see what happens on a pullback. We're watching to see if this is legit on the bull side. Like, we may want to go test the 50. Continuing to push higher there, or just remaining patient. Bull's still pushing it. We may have a little secondary channel here. headed towards that moving average on the daily. See what happens on this correction. If the EMA holds a support or if we make another high. If we just slice through the EMA to the downside, I will start to consider a short. Pretty decent little drop there so far. We got one bounce off the EMA. See if we get another bounce, and this might actually be an okay long. I don't really feel comfortable taking a long just yet, as the daily bias has not been established up to this point. Kind of dangerous to get ahead of that. All right, now we have a break in new high of that little move up. This could be where their correction comes to the downside. We're waiting for that. Holding on the EMA yet again. And if we make another leg higher here, it is very well possible that we have some sort of secondary channel like that. I'm still not playing it yet. And again, I don't really feel good about trading to the long side without some sort of bias for the day. So right now we have the possibility of that larger downtrend. Still could get a move down. I would rather trade the short side so far. Still waiting here. This this uptrend could be played out, but again, we keep making new highs. So it does look like we probably have some sort of wider uptrend, which is not really what I want to see. I'd prefer if this move down just continued. But it doesn't look like that's the case. So pretty soon here, if we go any higher, I'm gonna assume that larger downtrend is already played out. Just in my channel here as it's popping out of the top, so more likely just to be something like this. And SPY is super close to the 50-day moving average now, so it does look like that's what's going on. The buyers are wanting to go retest that level because we gapped down below it. So a little price discovery, seeing if yeah, it'll be interesting when once we get there, sellers step up, or if we just slice back above and continue with our year-long uptrend. Yeah, we're nearly at the 50% line of this move. So any higher and I will delete the wider downtrend. And this bounce is pretty significant. I probably would consider a long at this point. We've gone high enough. Or I think probabilities are starting to favor long positions. Except right now, we are right. This right here basically is the 50-day moving average on SPY. So I don't know that I'm going to be taking a trade right around here. Very contested area. Would highly recommend you just be patient here. George, good morning. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for saying what's up. Okay, let's see what happens at the EMA here. Again, since we're right touching the 50 SMA, I don't know that I want to take a long. This could end up being resistance. Major institutional level, so I don't want to screw around with that. So far, a little rejection, getting below the 21. And I'm just going to be waiting this whole area out. Maybe if we get a really good high or low, I might consider going long, but it has to be pretty dang solid. Nevertheless, this is the break of this channel, right? We got to move up here. First time the channel broke right here. Now we got a new high. So even if you are feeling the longs, you got to pause at this point. The channel is played out, and we need to see if sellers step up. And yeah, let the correction happen. NQ's trend is not played out. Looks like it is still active. I'd still be looking for a long there if I was interested in taking it. It's retraced so much that we don't have a wider downtrend anymore. Approaching previous day's low. Pretty good chance we get there. So if NQ pulls back, EMA holds, I'd have no problem taking a long, trying to reach to that level. Could ES still be active? Could this trend be something like this? For sure. Definitely could. Either way, I'm going to be steering away from this larger downtrend. Sellers are not as strong as we initially thought. Let's see what happens here. We still have yet to get above the 50-day SMA. Jeremy, don't have the means to buy the masterclass. Do I think the standard subscription is a good option to get started? Absolutely, because not only do you get to trade alongside the team in the live text trade channel, but I also drop daily lessons where I'm breaking down each day's action through the lens of my strategy, looking at all the possible setups, how you ought to have been approaching the market, where the opportunities were. It's an incredible way to learn because you can take what you did throughout the day and then get some immediate feedback on it, right? On top of that, there's a setup checklist. Gives you exactly what you need to take trades, along with picture examples, and it's an awesome community. Like, I think that's one of the big things. It's really hard to trade alone. You have some great traders in there. You can ask questions. People are going to be more than willing to help you out, and you'll get some solid advice to use in your development as a trader. So yeah, I think it's highly worth it. All right, we're continuing higher, so I'm just widening this channel. I think it's good. We're starting to trade a little bit above the 50-day SMA on SPY2. So as long as we stay above that, I'm going to be looking on the long side. Still watching NQ, waiting for that pullback, and I'll take the long there too. These are one of those moments, guys. You just got to be patient. It's pretty easy to jump into something here before the bias is fully established. And key levels are really important to wait around. They're just so contentious. It's so much of a coin flip that you just got to settle in for a bit and allow the market to develop, allow price action to show exactly what is the bias. Like it will be obvious, just like yesterday, right? It was very obvious what was going on yesterday. We didn't have to guess. We were like, yeah, we're going down, right? So this is what happens when you wait. It becomes very clear, and then you can easily find the opportunities to short when everything sets up. But the number one thing first is the overall trend, the overall bias. And right now what we're seeing is, okay, we're not probably going to have a gangbuster bearish trend day like we did yesterday. So, okay, that option is kind of off the table. Okay. Could we have a major bullish trend for the day? Yeah, we could. We could keep on going up. This could establish into a really strong trend. So that option's still open. Or we could drop down here and just basically be in this big chop range. So those are kind of the two options that I see for the rest of the day. Either really strong bullish trend or kind of just chopping around this level. But this area is the key right around here, because again, this is the 50-day moving average on SPY. So just have a little patience. Everything will make sense in a bit. Getting the pullback now. EMA is not holding so far. We're now back down below the 50-day moving average. I'm pulling up the QQQ chart to see where we're at. And it's actually the same. We touched the top of the 50-day moving average right here, basically. It's slightly higher, but essentially we tested it. Now we're pulling back off of it. No blowing your account, Octopus. Don't do it. Don't do it. The old average down, that'll get you. Looks like this little move down might already be played out. We had a break, a new low of that small correction channel. Could consider a double higher low for reversal towards the upside if it weren't for this major key level on the daily. Well, we're definitely not seeing gangbuster buying to get above the 50-day moving average. That should give you a little bit of information so far. Could we still get above it? Yes, for sure. But if it was really high volume, high conviction buying, we would have just blown through that right there. Like we're gunning for that new high here. Adam asking, is this Pats? Yeah, a lot of what we're doing here is taken from Pats for sure. All right, that uptrend is all played out, even if you had the wider version, and that's the second test of the 50-day moving average. Big battle going on here between buyers and sellers, guys. Paul is just there's a guy named Mac who has a website called Pats that is popularized a lot of the concepts that we trade. Getting that rejection, guys, and the bias is pretty unclear at this point. Even if you were super bullish, this channel already had that break, already had the new high. You gotta pause. Yeah, price action trading system. You gotta pause looking for longs at this point. We expect a correction. We're starting to get a little bit of that right here. See if it has any follow through or not. Adam, I do not know. And these bars are getting pretty big, which you would expect with all this action around this major level. Another push up. Another push up. I mean, if we get above this 50-day, guys, we could really see a big push, at least up to this gap fill. It's like if you see the market come up here, very likely we're going to continue higher till we fill this gap. It's a big if right now because we are just essentially chopping. Another attempt to get over. Sellers back again, pushing it down. The battle continues. Over on NQ, looking even more bearish. It's pushing all the way down to the bottom of this congestion. See if it breaks out to the downside. Woo, look at that push down. Look at that push down. Sellers. What's up? What's up? See if that holds. In order to take a short, we would need for this breakout area to hold as resistance. So we broke out here. If we can get a pullback that holds that area as resistance, could consider the short. It's going to have to look pretty dang good for me to stick my neck out here. Jesse, what's up? I love when you drop in, man. It's good to see you. Beavers have orange teeth because they are fortified with iron, which helps with chewing down trees, almost like having metal teeth. I love, like, if anyone like wasn't around when Jesse was super active in the chat, like that'd be such a random comment. I mean, it already is. But ladies and gentlemen, that is your Canadian fact of the day. If you needed to know a little bit more about beavers, there it is. Next, you got to tell us about moosin. I want to know about moosin. Archer. Do not touch must be horrifying to read in Braille. I love that. That is solid. Still move down, might already be played out. And yeah, guys, while we're waiting for all this, it is Friday. It is Dad Joke Friday. Archer getting us kicked off there. If anyone has a solid dad joke, feel free to share. Here's a question for you guys. How do you follow Will Smith in the snow? You follow the Fresh Prince. There you go. Happy Dad Joke Friday. You're welcome. All right, that downtrend not producing. We're back above the EMA. Bulls are looking pretty sharp here. Man, what a bounce here. Now we're seeing some aggression by the buyers. What's green and sings Elvis Parsley? That, my friend, is a groaner right there. Oh, Dad. We're taking this on a little test. Just trying to get a little pop. Sorry, I don't have the test disclaimer on right now. ES looks like it is really ready to pop above the 50-day SMA. Actually, technically it is above already, so we'll see if that holds as support. Nasdaq, I'm just playing the pop. Oops. Trailed my stop too soon, but oh well. Over on ES, we'll map out this uptrend here. And again, we can hold above this area of this acts as support. We can very confidently be bullish. You know what they say about trailing a stop too soon? Oops, I trailed my stop too soon. That is exactly what they say, believe it or not. So far, not getting above that resistance area. Man, this is just a highly contested, guys. Our probabilities of success are going down at this point. We're not getting a clean move either way. No, not the megaphone pattern of doom. Tom's calling it out. Yeah, you don't want the megaphone pattern. It's the or the goose. The goose pattern. Big green bar, another attempt by the bulls to push up. And this is an account killer here, guys. Sit tight. Don't do anything dumb. Another push down for ES. I will tell you this, guys. There's a good chance we expand off of this in a really big move, one way or the other. All right, now we're starting to push above the 50. Nasdaq is not really joining in just yet. It is still well within that little range. Obviously it could join anytime, but right now it's kind of dragging the market down, or at least at the minimum preventing it from launching up. Here's a couple bear candles on ES. If we get a really clean double lower high, I'd consider that. Look how flat the EMA is, especially on Nasdaq. It's a good sign to stay out of the action. If this was a heart monitor, that's how you got to think about the market. If the 21 EMA looks like a heart monitor, you're dead. The market's dead. Pretty flat EMA on the S&P too. It's looking really good, and then we've just flatlined. In Q, getting towards the bottom of this range, I may consider taking a long if we find support there. ES still has a ways to go before it gets to the bottom of the range. Big push NQ off the lows there. Another push up, making that attempt. Bulls are not going away. There we go. We're above the 50-day moving average. And as long as that's the top of that range holds there, I am going to be bullish. I am going to be looking for longs. So now we are watching for a pullback and looking for our opportunity to take a long trade. Come on, baby, pull back for us. All right, that miniature uptrend that just had. Anna, thank you. Have a great weekend. That miniature little uptrend that we just had possibly played out. Move up, little break, new high. However, we're clearly bullish, so maybe there's some sort of larger channel at play. I'm playing around with something along these lines. Looks pretty good. But as long as we stay above this level right here, I'm going to be bullish. So that is what I'm especially watching for. Can we get this pullback? If we hold above that, kind of don't care what channel we're working with. I'm getting long. Same on NQ. We're above that key level. I could easily see some sort of larger channel like this, maybe starting at the low. That looks pretty good. And again, as long as we stay above here, I'm bullish. That is a big if. If we drop down and we start trading back in here again, I am not going to be bullish. I'm not going to be considering a long. That will be a failure to trade above the 50 SMA. Here's ES, so far holding the level. We got a pullback and the first attempt higher. We're looking for the second leg of that pullback and then a bullish bar around here to go long. Looking for the same thing on NQ. Not getting an EMA test so far on that on that move. We still need that second leg of the pullback. We only have one leg so far. Yeah, see if we can get that nice bullish bar. I don't really like this one. It's barely touching the EMA. Could work, and maybe you want to take it, but I'd rather see a really solid test of the EMA. Something like this be a lot better. Looks like did we make a new high there? We got a double top. So I'm gonna hold off on taking the long. This is quite the day so far, guys. This should be a really interesting one. So for sure gonna be trading more today. Very likely that we have some good action, some good trades to come. Just being patient around this level to really assure whether or not this is going to hold or not. Again, if it does, I'm only bullish, only going to be looking long. If it fails, then we can start mixed trading, you know, playing the back and forth, playing the reversals, etc. But anyway, have a great day, guys. Wish you the best. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you in the Discord and back on YouTube next week. Later.